ABC's Bob Barnard. He is right there outside of the Capitol. Good morning, Bob. How are you doing, and what can you tell us?
Hey, Pilar, thank you. Doing well. It's a beautiful, kind of almost a coolish morning here in the nation's capital, and it's going to warm a lot of hearts because for the first time in 6 months, probably in the next couple of days or so, you're going to be able to kind of freely walk onto the Capitol grounds. I'll step out of the way and show you. Some of this 8-foot tall fencing that has surrounded the Capitol for the last 6 months. I mean, it's a beautiful spot. I mean, it's a beacon, and it's a draw for people who like to walk the grounds, run, pitch a chair and sit here and kind of be in the shadow of the U.S. Capitol, which they have not been able to do, obviously, now at all this calendar year. There had been a much wider perimeter, like a few blocks further out, of fencing that had been here up until a couple of months ago with a fairly heavy National Guard presence. Both of those things have been removed. The National Guard is no longer here. That wide perimeter fencing is gone. But this 8-foot tall fencing, which has a very tight mesh, so it's kind of, they say it's not scalable, has been here the whole time, and yet starting today and for the next 3 days, they're going to start peeling this away, removing the fencing and the jersey barriers there. We're told that what they're going to put in its place are some of those, bike rack type barricades that were here on January 6th and obviously proved no match for the masses that came here and ended up storming the building. But there's been a lot of push in the community, the people who live around here, members of Congress, to get this fencing gone. It's an eyesore, many people say. However, I will tell you, Pilar, that a lot of Capitol police officers aren't so sure. They kind of like it. It gives them an extra layer of security here. A number of officers have left the force. And, while there's no intelligence saying there's a new threat, a lot of the police officers are saying that they would like to keep this fencing here just in case. The other thing is the Capitol Police Board, which kind of oversees the Capitol Police, says, hey, we own this fencing. This is not something they're leasing. So the government owns this fencing, and they could get it back in a hurry should things change.
Yeah, Bob, I don't know if you remember, but on the morning of the Capitol riot, January 6th, you and I actually did a live report. We spoke to each other. You were out there with the pro-Trump supporter crowds ahead of that speech. And so who finally decided here that it was okay and it was time for this fencing to come down?
It's kind of a combination. I mean, there's been a push in the community. Local D.C. government officials have been pushing for it. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who is a delegate, a member of Congress representing D.C., doesn't have voting rights, but she's been a vocal critic of this fencing, saying it doesn't need to be here. There are other more high-tech means to provide security for the people who work here and the complex itself. And this Capitol Police Board, which includes the architect of the Capitol, which is kind of like the civilian leader of security here at the Capitol, and also the sergeants of arms of the House and Senate, all meeting together, eventually decided, hey, it's been 6 months. It's been peaceful since the day after the riot. This fencing is no longer needed. So it's been kind of like a combination of forces pushing for this. And yeah, I mean, when we spoke that morning, I mean, there were clearly agitated people in the crowd, but who knew? We certainly didn't at that hour, whatever it was, 4:30 in the morning.